In 1992, a guy with no psychology degree sat down in his office and made up a personality test that ended up in 20 million households and started like 4 million arguments. Okay, today we're answering the one question every couple secretly Googles at 1 a.m. after a fight. Not does he like me, not why won't she text back. The real question, why does one guy's theory, one that never passed a single peer review, never had a control group, never got tested by anyone but him, still control how you fight with your partner in 2026? We're talking about the 5 love languages, what they actually are, why they took over the world, and stick around because the ending of this video is not where you think it's going. Quick gut check before we get into it. You ever had a fight that went like this? I do everything for you. I do the laundry, I pay the bills, I fixed your car. I don't want you to fix my car. I want you to ask me how my day was. Congrats, you've basically just lived out the entire theory behind the 5 love languages without even knowing it. That fight? That's 2 people speaking 2 totally different emotional languages and assuming the other person's just not listening. So here's what we're actually digging into today. Are there really only 5 ways humans process love? Or did one guy just take 5 things his clients complained about the most and slap the word science on it? Here's my promise to you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why some couples with completely mismatched love languages stay together for decades, while couples who match perfectly still break up. And you'll know what actually predicts whether a relationship survives, which is not what's printed on the quiz. Let's find out. Let's speed run all 5, Tinder bio style. Number 1, words of affirmation. This is the person who needs to hear it, not assume it, not infer it from the fact that you're still together after 7 years. Hear it out loud, ideally with a compliment attached. These are the people who remember, word for word, the nicest thing you ever said, and also the one time you said it's fine in a tone that was allegedly not fine at all. Number 2, quality time. This person doesn't want your money or your gifts. They want your actual attention, which these days is basically asking for a kidney. And it doesn't just mean same room, it means same emotional universe. You can be sitting right next to someone and still fail this one if you're mentally replying to a work Slack message. Number 3, receiving gifts. Honestly, the most misunderstood one of the 5. People hear gifts and think gold digger. It's not about the price tag. It's proof you are actually paying attention. It's the difference between grabbing a candle because candles are nice versus grabbing the exact weird candle they mentioned once, 3 weeks ago in passing that they didn't even remember saying out loud. Number 4, acts of service. Sounds the least romantic, is secretly the most romantic. This is, I don't want flowers, I want you to do the dishes without a 45-minute negotiation first. It's very made you a spreadsheet instead of saying, I love you energy. If this person were on Love Island, they'd get 0 confessional airtime and somehow still be the most loyal one in the villa. The catch, they rarely say when they're upset, so it just quietly builds until it explodes over something totally unrelated, like the dishwasher. And number 5, physical touch. Hand-holding, hugs, sitting close. Not exclusively what your very concerned aunt assumes at Thanksgiving. For these people, a partner leaning slightly away during an argument doesn't feel like a small thing. It feels like a red flag. 5 categories. Clean, easy to remember, easy to put on a mug. And it probably felt true just now, right? At least one of those hit close to home. That's actually the first clue something's a little off here. But to understand why, we need to rewind, because the origin story has a lot less rigor behind it than the mug quotes make it sound. 1992, Gary Chapman, a Baptist marriage counselor in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, had been taking notes during his couples counseling sessions for years. He noticed something. People almost never complained about not being loved. They complained about not feeling loved, even when their partner swore up and down they were doing everything right. So Chapman went back through about a decade of his own counseling notes and sorted the complaints into 5 buckets. That's it. That's the whole research process. No control group, no published study, no peer review. Just one guy, a notepad, and a really good hunch. And it worked spectacularly. The book sold over 20 million copies. There are quizzes, workbooks, wedding vows, actual tattoos. Basically, Gary Chapman invented Communicate Your Situationship Expectations 30 years before TikTok gave it a name. He just did it in a cardigan instead of a 15-second video with a trending sound. But here's the part nobody puts on the mug. Turns out that clue was right. Here's why. In 2023, a psychologist named William Chapman at Michigan State ran the numbers on real couples, testing every possible combination of what people prefer versus what their partner actually does, and found almost no matching effect. Expressing love in any of the 5 ways was linked to higher satisfaction, whether or not it lined up with someone's supposed primary language. A year later, a research team led by Emily Impet at the University of Toronto reviewed the broader body of evidence and backed that up. They found little consistent support for the idea that matching languages actually predicts whether a relationship thrives. To be fair, it's not totally settled science. A couple of smaller studies have found modest benefits to matching, but the bulk of the recent, more rigorous research points the same direction. Matching isn't the magic ingredient Chapman promised. So if matching isn't the secret ingredient, what actually predicts whether a relationship makes it? Turns out it's way less Instagrammable. Stuff like how you handle conflict, how emotionally available you are, how much you're actually invested. Nobody's making a cute quiz called What's Your Conflict Avoidance Style? Because the result would just say you go silent for 3 days and reorganize the garage, and that doesn't sell a hardcover book. So why does it still feel true though? Because the 5 categories are vague enough that literally everyone sees themselves in all 5. It's basically the horoscope effect. You're not discovering some hidden truth about your personality. You're recognizing yourself in 5 boxes broad enough to fit almost any human who's ever wanted attention, appreciation, or a hug. The quiz didn't find your personality. It just handed you 5 options and let you pick your favorite one. Does that mean throw the book out? Not really. Remember that promise from the top, why mismatched couples last and perfect matches don't. Here's the payoff. It was never about the label. It's about whether 2 people actually talk to each other about what they need, mismatched or not. The quiz was just a really good icebreaker for a conversation people should have been having anyway. Real question though, has a love language quiz ever actually changed how you argue with your partner? Or is this whole thing just a horoscope with better marketing? Fight about it in the comments. Either way, tell your partner it's acts of service season and go empty the dishwasher.